The 2022 Rebel Grand Prix of Spain underway. Who will reign in Spain? Bagnaia gets the great launch off the line from pole position. Likewise, Fabio Quartararo. They're going to top it out on the brakes at the first corner. It will be Bagnaia that stands firm. Quartararo trying to get the drive out of the first corner, attacking Bagnaia into turn 2. There's no way through. Nakagami's had a fantastic start. The Japanese man, 7th to 4th place.
Poor start for Aleix Espargaro. He's dropped down to 6th. There's already some debris flying on. Maybe one of the winglets is being picked up by one of the riders further back.
From Barcelona in Spain, we're reporting from the Catalunya circuit, where the fans in the stands are anxiously waiting to see the riders take to the track. In a few moments we'll move to the main straight to watch the start of the MotoGP race. Cameras take us to the starting grid where riders and engineers are discussing the final details. The Grand Prix will start in just a few moments. Fabio Quartararo is the big favourite, starting from first place on the grid.
Ada bapak-bapak teman-teman. Goblok.
rain in Spain. Bagnaia gets the great launch off the line from pole position. Likewise, Fabio Quartararo, they're going to top it out on the brakes at the first corner. It will be Bagnaia that stands firm. Quartararo trying to get the drive out of the first corner, attacking Bagnaia into turn 2. There's no way through. Nakagami's had a fantastic start. The Japanese man, 7th to 4th place.
Poor start for Aleix Espargaro. He's dropped down to 6th. There's already some debris flying on. Maybe one of the winglets is being picked up by one of the riders further back. The top 2 have got away. Jack Miller up into 3rd place ahead of Nakagami and Marc Marquez, with Aleix Espargaro down in 6th.
Bagnaia and Quartararo already starting to try and make some progress towards the front. Oh, Marquez, speedway, sideways start, he picks up poor old Taka Nakagami. Marquez takes 4th. Was that
someone down on the top of the screen?
Further back.
Martin, I think.
Nakagami out wide, and that meant Aleix Espargaro was able to sweep on through as well. It's Stefan
Martin and Bradl. Martin's down as well.
Yeah, Jorge Martin. Well, that could potentially be a 4th DNF in 6 races for the luckless Jorge Martin. It has not been the start for 2022 we expected for the Pramac Ducati man. All kinds of rumours that he's already got a deal to replace Jack Miller in the factory Ducati team next year. But a terrible start to his home Grand Prix for Martin.
I was about to ask how have they gone down together. They've had separate accidents, so Martin, they're losing the front, and you're going to see Stefan Bradl perhaps just join him into view down at the gravel trap at turn 13. So a disastrous start once again for Martin, but the top 2 have got the start they wanted. Joan Mir now picking off Taka Nakagami. Mir up into the top 6. The KTMs have had a decent start to the Grand Prix. Miguel Oliveira from 21st on the grid up to 13th. Brad Binder also making progress. He started 15th on the grid. He's now up into the top 10. He's just behind Johan Zarco and ahead of Enea Bastianini.
First time in this Grand Prix that Jack Miller slipped a second behind Fabio Quartararo. So as we suspected, as we thought would happen, Pecco Bagnaia and Fabio Quartararo had the best race pace, the superior race pace all weekend over the rest of the field, and they are now starting to make a decisive early break here around this red circuit where there's so much hard braking, so much abuse on that front tyre through the high-speed, fast corners. If you're in that mid-pack, you can be in big bother. I wonder whether that might be an issue for Alex Rins. Pecco Bagnaia has just reeled off another fast lap. I think that's the best ever race lap here in Jerez, a 1:37.669. This is a replay of the race start. Oh, look at that. Elbow to elbow, wasn't it, between Aleix Espargaro and Marc Marquez. In fact, they rubbed shoulders. No quarter given between the 2 Spaniards up into turn 1. They've exchanged a fair few frank words here this weekend. Aleix Espargaro on Friday, very angry that Marc Marquez was following him for a tow. That's as close as it's going to get. Out of your picture here on the right-hand side is Aleix Espargaro. They're rubbing shoulders pretty much all the way up to the first corner. Aleix launches it up the inside, fires that Aprilia on the inside of Marc Marquez. Marquez, though, cut it back and was able to take that 4th place back. Darren Binder, unfortunately, on the WithU Yamaha has gone down. That's such a common crash here in Jerez. Trail braking down the hill, tricky entry into the Michelin corner, and the South African crashed out. That's a shame because he was going really well, actually.
Wait before he launches a move on Jack Miller.
Jack Miller is still resisting this intense pressure coming from Marquez.
Oh, there he goes.
Marquez up the inside in the Cito Ponce corner. He's got it done. That was beautiful. What a move that was then by Marquez. The crowd here, they're looking at the big screen on the main grandstand. They're going wild here. Miller trying to respond immediately with an attack on the brakes into turn 6. No way through. Marquez then on the podium here in Spain, and the fans love it. They're on the edge of their seats. They're on their feet. Marquez up to 3rd.
Marquez was so good on the brakes there into turn 6. It looked as if Miller had got the move back done with the straight line speed of that Ducati, but Marc Marquez able to get through. Aleix Espargaro knows now he needs to attack immediately, try and get quickly past the number 43 Ducati of Jack Miller. If he wants eyes on the podium, he needs to follow Marc Marquez quickly.
This was a lovely move. Look at this, the element of surprise in many respects from Marquez. There's not a lot of room there. Miller on a slightly wider line, and up the inside, it was clean, it was clinical. It was Marc Marquez back to his best in many respects, and he moves up into 3rd place. Here comes Aleix Espargaro. As Lewis said, he has to find a way through on Miller. He squeezes the Aussie out.
Oh, wide.
Marquez was wide, and in the blink of an eye, Aleix Espargaro on the factory Aprilia is now up into 3rd place. Marquez then with all that hard work through again. Miller attacks him on the brakes into the first corner, and he gets it done. And of course, all this scrapping, all this battling out of nowhere, Joan Mir comes into contention for the podium.
This trio were in the 139s that lap, a 139.6 for Jack Miller as he was busy trying to fend off Aleix Espargaro and Marc Marquez. Joan Mir was a full 1.1 seconds quicker than the Ducati man ahead.
Now then, Aleix Espargaro was supremely confident in his end of race pace. Has he timed this to absolute perfection? Already he sweeps through turn number 5 and there's daylight between himself and Miller and Marquez. He might have just been playing the patient waiting game there, Aleix Espargaro, picking his opportunity. Marquez got in hot in that final corner. Aleix Espargaro got up the inside of Jack Miller into turn 13 with Marquez wide. He said, thank you very much, I'll take P3. And on course for another podium for Aprilia.
So Aleix Espargaro is busy thinking about Jack Miller here, and you can see Marc Marquez just getting in a little hot. He loses the front, saves it on his knee.
Oh, that was a proper old-style Marquez save, wasn't it? That was the reason why Marquez was wide. We have not seen that very often. He's not had the confidence and the feeling in that Repsol on the front end to make those kind of astonishing saves. That was brilliant stuff by Marquez. That was so close to disaster. Back at the front, and it's still very much game on. The gap through the third sector on this lap 22 between Bagnaia and Quartararo, it got squeezed back down to just over half a second. Is there more late fireworks coming here from Quartararo? Aleix Espargaro is already half a second now clear of the Australian, halfway around lap 23.
Joan Mir is firmly in this battle. You can see him just on the back of Marc Marquez, who's, I think, fed up of staring at the back of Jack Miller's Ducati, isn't he? He's been staring at it for the entire Grand Prix, aiming at a podium. They're now battling for 4th and 5th. Joan Mir just behind them, as you can see, in 6th. The lead between Bagnaia and Quartararo still hovering around the half-second mark. We've just got 2.5 laps to go. If Quartararo had anything else up his sleeve, we think we'd have seen it by now. So is Bagnaia just about doing enough to keep the reigning world champion at bay? Just 2 and a bit laps to go.
Yeah, Marquez then trying to regroup after that big front-end washout at turn 13, which cost him 3rd place. He's done so much hard work to get that 3rd spot. Now then, here we are back at the front. Fabio Quartararo, you can see there visibly, this is as close as he's been to Pecco Bagnaia for the majority of this Grand Prix. It looks like Aleix Espargaro's got 3rd place covered at the moment. Bagnaia and Quartararo over the line, the gap was down to just over 0.4 of a second. We'll track Aleix Espargaro as well to see what his advantage is over Miller. He's increased it to 0.8 of a second. At this stage of the race, as we suspected, Jack Miller and Marc Marquez do not have the speed of Aleix Espargaro. The Aprilia man was half a second quicker than Marquez, 0.4 quicker than Miller.
So what's Fabio Quartararo got up his sleeve? We're on the penultimate lap then of this Grand Prix. He needs to try and get himself within closing distance at the end of this penultimate lap. Where will be the places Quartararo can make a move? Turn 1 is a potential opportunity, turn 6 is another, and then the final, turn 13, the Jorge Lorenzo corner as the rear comes out for Pecco Bagnaia. He's giving it absolutely everything to keep the world champion at bay.
Sideways, wasn't he there, Pecco Bagnaia? He's throwing everything on the line here, as you knew he would do. He has to keep Fabio Quartararo at bay. Jorge Martin has got a long lap penalty to add to his miserable day here in his home Grand Prix in Spain. We come into the stadium section then for the penultimate lap here, the Red Bull Grand Prix of Spain, the Red Bull Grand Prix, and these two are locking horns here. Quartararo's quick through turn 10, isn't he, through the Pelican corner. You'd think he'd have the advantage in this sector 3 with the agility and the corner speed of that factory Yamaha. Here we go then, Bagnaia getting the message, team communication, 0.4 seconds the advantage. We've got 1 lap and 1 corner remaining here in Jerez. It will be Pecco Bagnaia that leads onto this decisive final lap.
With this margin, you feel like it's going to take a mistake for Pecco Bagnaia. 1 lap to go. It's just under half a second. It would take some effort from Fabio Quartararo to pull that back from this margin. If Bagnaia can keep it wheel perfect, he might just have enough here.
A 1:38.1 on a 24-lap old Michelin rear tyre. Stunning pace by Pecco Bagnaia. Aleix Espargaro looks like he is well set for another podium. He is going to look like he's going to convert a 3rd front row start into a 3rd podium finish this year. Over the line, he was nearly 1.4 seconds clear of Jack Miller as Aleix Espargaro then looks to take his 3rd rostrum of the season. Fabio Quartararo is running out of time here in Jerez. Is he going to be close enough to get close to the Ducati ahead of him? Bagnaia again sideways on that factory Duke into turn number 6. Quartararo looks like he's slightly got the better corner speed in that Dani Pedrosa corner. Now into sector 2. The gap still 0.4 of a second.
Marc Marquez hasn't given up on pole position yet, has he? He's swarming all over the back of Jack Miller. Both factory Ducatis under fire in this final half a lap.
So it's Miller trying to hang on to a hard-fought fourth place. Here he comes, Marquez up the inside into turn. And you can hear the roar of the crowd. They love it as they watch it on the big screens. Alex Espargaro then looks like he's on course for a famous home Grand Prix podium here. But here is the battle for the race win. I think Fabio Quartararo will not be close enough. This has been impeccable by Pecco Bagnaia. He comes into the final corner. He's going to get this job done. Quartararo's leaving it too late. It has been brilliant. Bagnaia, he reigns in Spain. The Ducati man wins the Red Bull Grand Prix of Spain in 2022. What a race by Pecco Bagnaia. It was picture perfect from Pecco. He takes it by just under 3/10 from Fabio Quartararo. And Alex Espargaro does take a stunning podium. His third of the season for the factory Aprilia team.
In a few minutes, the top 3 riders will arrive at the podium for their well-deserved podium ceremony. In the meantime, let's take a look at the MotoGP race final ranking. The cameras are taking us into Park Fermé to the race winner, who is rightly celebrating with his mechanics. If it continues like this, it will be difficult for his rivals to catch up with him. Here we are live for the closing ceremony of the Grand Prix. All 3 on the podium right now gave us a great race. Now they can enjoy the crowd's warmth.